So, while this is the very start of the video for you guys, I've actually been working on this sketchbook spread off and on for a couple of days now. And I'd say it's about 3/4 of the way done at this point. But before I continue, I really want to just tidy my desk, sort of tidy my space in general a little bit, refresh my brain. Tidying stuff sort of helps me to get re-energized, probably the Virgo in me. And while I do this, I wanted to share with you guys a little story that I've actually never shared with anyone. So I hope you don't judge me in advance, but I don't think you will. I think we're all friends here, and that's why I feel like I'm safe to share this little story about myself. So let's go. So there's this girl on the internet, right? Not a celebrity, not even an influencer. She's just a girl. For the sake of this story, let's call this girl Alice. Alice doesn't know I exist, yet I've probably been one of her biggest fans for over 10 years. I've never interacted with Alice, never talked to her, never commented on one of her posts. She's completely unaware of the huge impact she's made on my life. So, if you're still here, I'm guessing that you don't think I'm too much of a weirdo. So, I'm going to go back in time and start this sketchbook spread while I continue my little story. I promise you, there is a message to this, and I think it's going to inspire you this week. Well, I hope it is anyway. To understand where this fangirling started, let's rewind back through internet history to the early 2010s. Who here amongst us is old enough to remember blogs? I know you probably know what they are, but being there was different. Blogs were it before social media. I mean, they kind of were social media. People would post and then people would comment on said post. But it was different than the social media we have now. Blogs were messy, chaotic, imperfect. They were real. And it felt like winning the lottery when you found someone's blog who had really cool style, or made art you loved, or wrote words that felt like they were coming out of your very own brain. And a lot of the time you'd find someone who did and posted about all of these things. Like I said, blogs were different. People didn't necessarily have niches, and there was definitely no personal branding. It was just people being their messy, multifaceted, creative little selves. And man, it was glorious. You could stumble upon a blog in those days and feel like you just opened the diary of a complete stranger. It was fascinating and addictive and completely inspiring. People would write like no one was watching. And I guess for a lot of people, no one was. But still they posted. It wasn't about what other people thought of you, impressing anyone, selling anything, or appeasing an algorithm. It was pure self-expression. Now, I don't exactly remember how I stumbled upon Alice's blog. I think I actually might have found a link to her blog on her Flickr. Flickr was a photo sharing website, which was another hugely popular place for creatives back in the day. I used to spend hours browsing photos on there. And on a little side note, I actually highly suggest you go and check it out, especially if you're looking for reference photos that are less polished and sometimes overused than Pinterest. Anyway, I digress. The important part is that I found Alice somehow. And from the moment I saw the way she captured her life, the way she created magic in her everyday, the things that inspired her, the things she made, the way she wrote, and how she created her home, I was hooked completely. Alice was a photographer, but she also drew, and she also sewed, and she also decorated her home. She'd share photos of her home, her life, her art, and other creative projects that felt so personal. She had a way of capturing her small, cozy life that made me feel cozy, that made me want to create and capture magic of my own. Just by being her, she inspired me to do the same. We didn't create the same style of art, and we didn't dress exactly the same, and we didn't decorate our homes the same. But she did encapsulate a certain aesthetic I loved. And I think I was mainly inspired by her pure creative vision that seemed to permeate through everything she did. When I found her, and multiple times since, I've looked through all her posts, I looked at all her photos, I absorbed everything she'd ever posted online, and still I wanted more. Over the years, I may have forgotten about Alice for a while, especially because she wasn't really on Instagram, and when Instagram became popular, I, along with most people I think, started spending more time on there as blogs slowly fell by the wayside. But I've always come back to her. She'd pop into my head randomly, and I'd be so excited to go and check if she'd posted in the months or years I'd forgotten about her, to see what she was creating and putting out into the world. I never stopped being interested. She didn't have to post TikToks or Reels every day to try to stay relevant to me. She didn't have to stay on top of Instagram's algorithm changes so she could appear in my feed. I searched her out. I remembered her. And that's saying a lot, considering I rarely remember what I had for breakfast yesterday. Seriously, I have some serious CPTSD-related memory issues. So when I remember things, it's a big deal. She made that much of an impression on me from the very first time I saw who she was and what she created, that I was an instant, true fan for life. Maybe you can think of someone that you feel this way about, or maybe not. I think if you've spent enough time on the internet, everyone has at least one person that inspires them like this. But maybe I'm wrong about this, and this story is just freaking everyone out. Let me know in the comments below. Now, here is the really exciting moral to this story I'm sharing with you. You are, or will be, someone's Alice. There's someone, or many people, out there who just adore you and everything you do, and you might not even know it. In fact, there's a high probability that you don't. In all my years on the internet, I've always been a bit more of a lurker than a commenter. Actually, I think the term lurker gives us introverted types a bad rap. I want to rebrand us right now as silent appreciators. Like I said, I never commented on anything Alice posted, never messaged or emailed her. I didn't need to. I simply enjoyed what she shared, and that was more than enough for me. I didn't need to know more about her than what she chose to share, I didn't need to create a real relationship with her to get access to her time and attention. I just loved her vibe, her art, and who she seemed to be as a person. She was a true inspiration, and in my heart, I wished her all the best in life. Silently, from across oceans. Now I'm telling you, if you're brave enough to share yourself and your creativity on the internet, and that could be anything, painting, writing, photography, music, baking, gardening, you will have appreciators that wait for you on bated breath, like I've described. People that don't expect you to show up as perfectly curated, polished, or professional, and actually prefer it when you aren't. Who relate to something real about you and aspire to be like you in some way. People that you inspire just by being yourself and making exactly what you make, exactly how you make it. But the thing is, you have to put yourself out there, really and truly out there. Now, maybe you're scoffing at me right now and thinking, yeah, right, as if me or my art are good enough to make someone feel that way. But the thing is, it's really not about being good. It's about being you and sharing that as honestly as you can with the world. But also, I would argue with you that you are actually very good too. It's easy to feel that social media these days, with all its algorithms, has made us feel like we all have to show up the same way if we want to be seen. To even be seen by our own followers, the people that have said, yes, please show me what you're up to, isn't guaranteed anymore. And to stay relevant, we're constantly told new things we have to do that take up our precious time. This week we have to post reels every day because photos are no longer good enough. Next week we need to show up on stories every day as well. We end up expending so much energy trying to create content that we're told we need to create that we all become so alike in what we share that we lose or maybe never quite discover what it is that actually makes us the individual magic creator that we are. Alice has never made a reel in her life, as far as I know. I don't even think she currently uses Instagram. And when she did, she used it like we all did in 2015, as a kind of honest, simple photo diary. She didn't follow the rules and she wasn't trying to grow an audience. But I was, and I know there were others too, always interested in her life, her projects, and her creativity. If she made more products to sell that I could afford at the time, she was selling beautiful handmade fairy tale-ish dresses for a few $100s that I couldn't afford, but still to this day want, and one day I will have. I would have been a loyal, regular customer. Now, would I encourage anyone who wants to create a business from their art to follow directly in Alice's footsteps? No, of course not. If your goal is to become a full-time artist like mine is, we need to learn and implement more strategic social media, sales, and marketing skills. However, she shows us that there's wiggle room. There's other ways to go about this business of being an artist on the internet than what we're currently seeing. If you can imagine for 1 second that there were 999 other me's, 999 other true fans of Alice, that would make 1,000 people. 1,000 people who would buy her art, support her if she had a Patreon, take her classes, and buy whatever else she offered. If Alice had 1,000 me's and had products and ways for those me's to support her, and those 1,000 me's spent only, let's say, $100 on her art every year, she would make $100,000. Imagine making $100,000 a year without having to have hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, without having to be the best, just by being you. On a side note, there's a man named Kevin Kelly who started this theory of 1,000 true fans. I've linked his essay below and would highly recommend you check it out if you're working on growing any sort of small business. I think of this theory a lot because it seems so damn feasible for most people, which is so exciting to me. You don't need 50,000 followers on Instagram or 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. And that is such a relief, because to get those things, you might feel like you have to make certain content, be a certain way, even make certain art. But 1,000 people? I can guarantee that no matter who you are, there's 1,000 people who will be obsessed with your art as it is right now, with you as you are right now. You won't have to struggle to keep them engaged with your content. Once they find you, they'll be your super fans for life, and you won't have to work really hard to keep them. Everything will flow naturally because what you offer and who you are has inherent value to them. And with these 1,000 people dying to support you out of pure love for who you are, bam, your full-time artist dream is a reality. But this means putting yourself out there. This topic of putting yourself and your creativity out there, loudly and proudly, for the world to see, is a topic for a whole other video, because I have so many thoughts and so much advice from my own learned experiences on my own journey. But I would like to leave you with one piece of encouragement and one task this week. Think of one thing that you feel like is a flaw, something about you that makes you not good enough to share yourself and your art freely. That thing that feels awful is the reason why you need to be sharing yourself. For example, and this is a little bit scary, but I want to be really honest with you. Here's mine. Or one of mine. I feel like I've got a few. So I've tried and given up on so many things. And at age 31, I'm still not even really close to making a full-time income off my art, which has been my lifelong dream. My mental health has impacted my progress in so many ways. So who am I, this failure, to encourage others on their journey when I haven't even made it myself? Who am I? Well, I'm the perfect person to guide and inspire others, because every single time I've tried something, I've learned 10 lessons. And when you've tried a lot and you failed a lot, but each failure has taught you 10 things, that's a hell of a lot of experience, advice, wisdom, understanding, and insight to have gained. I believe by committing myself to sharing as vulnerably as I can and providing as much value as I can, I'm doing my part. The universe will then do its part and bring in people who need my particular message. The people who need real, who need imperfect, who can look at me and go, well, if she's doing it, maybe I can too. I'd really love for you to be brave and let me know what's holding you back from bringing your full self to the internet in the comments. Whether it's fear of your art not being good enough, lack of confidence in showing yourself on camera, or you don't think you have anything unique to say. I want the comments on all my videos to be a conversation and an open, sharing space. And I'd love to hear from you. Now, on to the next half of the video, where I'll be working on this spread in real time. Prepare yourself for some chatty sketchbook goodness in 3, 2, 1. So first things first, I think I'm just gonna do the line art for this mermaid. Now, please excuse my nails. You've probably seen them. They were bare at the start of the video, and then I had these nails on, and now half of these nails have fallen off. But it's because I didn't put them on properly. I didn't prep my nails, so they only lasted 2 days, and I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fall off last night. But I wanted to finish this video and not do my nails, so if we can just ignore that situation, that'd be great, even though I've just called blatant attention to it. Also, my hair's wet and drying, so we're just a mess here, but I feel comfortable with you guys. I obviously feel very comfortable to turn up on the internet looking like this, but that's a testament to you, not a testament to my beauty routines. Anyway, I'm going to start finishing this spread by doing the lines on this mermaid, and I might just leave her as lines. I haven't decided yet, because I feel like this spread is so busy as it is that it could potentially benefit from, let's get this out of the way, could potentially benefit from a little bit of not necessarily negative space over here, but more of a sketchy vibe with just this kind of wash, so that your eye has somewhere to take a little bit of a break, because it's so colourful and busy. I did this beige watercolor layer on her, and I like it. I think I want to experiment with that more in my sketchbooks to sort of make the pages look a bit tea stained, I suppose. And I think because I love color so much and bright color, that sort of tea staining an old, giving the page a bit more of an old look, I feel like it could be a really nice counterbalance to all the color I use, because I also do like that kind of vintagey feel. So maybe I can sort of merge my two loves, that kind of vintage style with bright in-your-face color, by sort of giving a tea-stained look to some pages in my sketchbook. I'm just going to play around with it. So I haven't posted a video this is my first video in like 2 weeks, and it's a shame really that this happened at the time that it did, but I got sick. I got like a stomach bug. I'm not going to go into too much gory, disgusting detail because I don't think you need to know. I don't think you want to know. But yeah, I wasn't feeling very good. And then like the day that I started to feel better, I got my period. So it was just a roller coaster of feeling not great. So as much as I wanted to make a video, I just needed to have a little bit of a rest. But it sucks that it happened when it did, because I just hit 1,000 subscribers. So I really wanted to make a video straight away, but I knew you guys would understand. But I was really excited about it, and I still am. Thank you so much for being here. It blows my mind that there's 1,000 of you here. Like, imagine 1,000 people in this room right now. That would be, well, we'd probably be dead. That would be terrifying. But like 1,000 people here that have said like, yes, I want to watch your videos every week. That's fun. I love that. And I really want to make, I've sort of started plotting some thoughts down, like a video on like why I'd really recommend people to start their own YouTube channel. And okay, if you hear that, hear little footsteps, that's my dog in the background. He'll probably get up, walk around, lie down and find somewhere else to sleep. Oh, actually no, he'll wait at the door this time. You want to go out? Okay. Off you go, buddy. What was I saying? Yeah, so I really want to make a video about like sort of how YouTube has like changed my life. It's changed me for the better, and how I'd really like love just like everyone having a YouTube channel. And I've been writing down, because I've been doing more writing lately. I've been trying to write for half an hour every day. But that's another side note entirely. But yeah, so that's a video that will be coming soon, sort of as like a celebratory 1,000 follower video, sort of be like my story with YouTube, why and when I started, what my journey's been like so far, and like how YouTube has really affected me as an artist and changed me and been a real positive in my life. So if you can see what I'm doing for this hair, I'm kind of, like I'm not doing perfect line art, and I'm kind of going back and forth over the lines that I'm making, because I feel like, number one, this micron pen doesn't really want to work as well over the top of the watercolor. It's like, I don't know, it's just not as juicy. So it's doing a little bit better where there's not as much paint on the page. And it's nice when you want to do line art a little bit faster. You don't have to be so neat with it. You can you know, if you're doing like a couple lines, you're not doing one perfect line, you don't have to be as precious with it because it will have a nice quality to the line regardless. I actually haven't really like used watercolor in quite some time. So this was a really fun spread. And I haven't really done spreads like this in a long time either. So I really enjoyed this page and doing this. And if you've seen any of my sketchbook videos, you'd probably know that like I often have a really varied approach to my sketchbooks, and I definitely advocate for like bringing more chaos, bringing more experimentation into your sketchbooks, not pressuring yourself to finish them. Like, one of my biggest pieces of advice for anyone is like, hey, are you feeling, you know, unmotivated to work in your sketchbook? Well, go and buy a new one. Like, will it help you finish the one you're working in? No. But will it help you to actually just make some art? Yes. And isn't that the most important thing? Like, why do we put so much pressure on ourselves to finish sketchbooks when, like, the main purpose of them is to be making art? So if that means that you feel like you're in a bit of a slump and going out and buying a new sketchbook helps that, then go do it. Go start a new one. Go start 10 new ones. As far as I'm concerned, there's no rules. There's no one actually telling you you can't. So do it. But if you're going to do it with reckless abandon. Do it with total freedom and liberation. Don't do it with any regrets. And just go for it. And I'm also an advocate of like, your sketchbook doesn't have to be perfect. You should see, well, you can see on my channel, if you're new here, the sketchbooks that I have that don't look like this. They're just full of thumbnails and just, it looks like someone with broken thumbs has created it, you know? But that is so important. But also, I'm a contradictory person, so sometimes I do go through phases where I want to make really nice spreads and I want to make my sketchbooks more sort of like finished artworks in themselves. But, you know, then I go back to, like, I swing both ways. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I'm getting very distracted by my dog's outside the room now. I don't know if you heard, and he's getting up, lying down, flopping around. I think he's lying against a wall and making noise. I am extremely like easily distracted, or maybe not distracted, I guess distracted is the right word, but if I hear noises, like noises will really throw me off my train of thought. I won't be able to talk while there's conflicting background noises. I don't know what that's all about. It never used to be quite so bad, I'd say, but over the years, it's definitely gotten worse. But it doesn't really bother me. It just means that I have to like stop what I'm talking about and pause for a second and probably lose my train of thought, let's be real, but yeah, it doesn't bother me too much. What have I been watching lately? I feel like I don't really talk about that on my channel, just like media I'm consuming. But I've been watching some really good shows lately. And the first one that comes to mind is a show called Evil, and it's on Amazon Prime here in Australia. And we just started watching it like we'd never heard anything about it. And I thought, okay, Evil, you've got me. Sounds interesting. Sounds kind of spooky. I'm there. And we were just like really surprised by how good it is. I don't know if any of you have seen it. And it's interesting because like on Amazon Prime in Australia, sometimes I feel like the photos, like the cover photos, the promo photos for shows are like, they don't look very good sometimes, so it puts you off the show, or you think it's going to be like maybe a bit more like B grade, C grade show. And that's kind of what it was like for Evil, although I think they've changed it now because they've got a new season coming out. But anyway, we gave it a go anyway, and it's been awesome. We got through the first 2, or was it 3 seasons that they've done, and they're coming out with the 4th. I think it's 2. Got through the first 2 seasons pretty quick, and it just got better. Like first season was awesome. Second season, just like the characters, the relationships between them. There's like a really good episode where there's pretty much no dialogue through most of it, which I always love when shows do interesting little things like that. It's almost got a Buffy vibe at some points during the show, like spooky and kind of serious drama, but also characters that have a little bit of like a, you know, they've got bands a little bit. They've got bands, or they just have like a fun interpersonal dynamic sometimes. But it can also be quite serious. But it's good. I would recommend. And then obviously watching Legend of Korra. Very nearly finished on the last few episodes. which I'd never seen before, but has been so good after binging Avatar again. I haven't watched the live action Avatar yet, but that is definitely going to be coming up soon. But it doesn't seem as fun. You know what I mean? Like Avatar is so, especially like I like Korra as well, but like the first original Avatar is just like so fun and joyous and funny and cute, and the live action doesn't look like that. Like it looks more adult and grown up, I suppose, but like that could be fun. But I'm hoping they still inject like, you know, some of Aang's personality into the show, because, you know, that's just fun and cute. And also, I can't wait to watch like live action Appa and Momo, and it's gonna be cute. It's gonna be cute. So I'm excited to do that, but I might start that soon. And I watched, what else did I watch? Lockwood and Co. Finally, really good. Liked it quite a lot. Love the vibes, British spookiness. And just started last night, Lock and Key. I don't know why it's taken me so long to like watch all these like spooky shows, because they're my favorite type of shows. But yeah, it just has, I don't know why, but Lock and Key's been really good as well. That looks like a lobster claw. This is why I don't draw and talk most of the time, because this is what happens. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's a loose pen sketch. It's not supposed to be perfect. It's okay. But that is hideous. Anyway. So I want to get more detail with the lines. I definitely think I made the right choice in not adding colour to this. I might do a few little details, but I'm liking so far that it's pretty simple. So I'm happy with that choice. But I do want to detail the hair more, because it's just one of my favorite parts of any drawing is the hair. It's just so fluid, and as an artist who loves like line, hair is just a joy to behold, you know? And there's so many ways that you can approach it. Like it's quite versatile, I think, as a subject. Not as a subject matter, but you know what I mean. As a part of a portrait, I think it can be handled so many different ways. Now when I'm doing these lines in the hair, like this one here, I'm honestly not sure what I'm doing. I'm just kind of winging it. I'm not really trying to create, obviously, a realistic effect. It's more I want to create like nice movement. So I want the lines to flow nicely individually, but then also mimic hair to an extent, if that makes sense. So it's about like, you don't want all the lines going in the same way, all having the same width. Like you want variation, but you also want, how can I explain it? you want it to look like there's different sections in the hair. So like right now, like this section here, I'm gonna do some lines that are more close together. So almost like that's receding and it's creating that depth in the hair a little bit. And this section here kind of looks like it's flowing underneath this section over the top. Does that make sense? So I'm going to finish this line work. I'm going to speed up right now because I realize this video is going to be so long, which I'm more than willing to create if you guys are interested in it, you know. Your wish is my command. But for now, I'm going to finish the line up, speed it up, and you can let me know in the comments like if you would like a 2-hour video. Kind of insane, but you know, could be fun.